no secret that DC's live-action films have been a complete mess for the last decade. From 2013's insufferable Man of Steel to 2015 and 2017's Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, the studio were massively lacking quality control in their films in an attempt to fast-track a similar stream of success as rivals Marvel Studios, with the exception of a few select bright spots like the first installments of Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman. With Walter Hamada out and James Gunn in, we were promised a somewhat clean slate going forward, with the Zack Snyder DCEU continuity set to end after a decade with this December's Aquaman 2, and the new DCU set to begin afterwards with minimal carryover. That hasn't been fully detailed yet, but we'll hear more about that in the future. We know that John Cena will continue as Peacemaker, as will Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, but everything else is left up in the air as of now until further notice from Gunn and Safran. Now, by the way things were looking, it seemed as though Ezra Miller's 2023 film The Flash was set to be the transition from the DCEU to the DCU, but even that film posed more questions than provided answers. Now, when it was revealed a few years ago that Michael Keaton was returning as Batman in not only one but two films, with a potentially substantial role to follow for his character thereafter, I assume a certain portion of the DC fandom were quite excited. It had long been public knowledge that the Flash film was going to utilize the Flashpoint story arc, so having Keaton replace Affleck in the new DCU through some multiversal shenanigans seemed like the logical progression of things. Needless to say that with everything that has happened in the time since Keaton's return was announced, and what we ultimately got with the Flash movie, that wasn't the route they decided to go. It seems like Gunn and Safran have no interest in continuing with Keaton as Batman in any capacity going forward outside of his appearance in the Flash film. The first sign that things were obviously going wrong was the outright demolition of the film Keaton was initially supposed to return in, Batgirl, starring Leslie Grace, being completely finished and immediately shelved by Warner Brothers CEO David the Devil Zaslav for a tax write-off. Not only was this a massive slap in the face to everyone involved with that film, but it also robbed us of the potential setup for something that every 90s kid has wanted for close to 25 years now, a live-action adaptation of Batman Beyond. Now, I'm not saying this is for certain what they had planned. I have no idea what they had in mind initially. However, I'm convinced that this was going to be a setup for a potential Batman Beyond film or maybe series on HBO Max or something. Why do I think this? Well, for one, it had already been revealed that DC and Warner Brothers had extensive plans in store for Keaton's Batman going forward, with reports stating that he was intended to assemble a new Justice League while also acting as the DC equivalent to Marvel's Nick Fury, the old seasoned veteran putting together a team of extraordinary individuals to save the world. We're literally halfway there to Batman Beyond already. That was my next point, the elderly Bruce Wayne. It was said that Keaton's role in Batgirl was to be a supporting one where he had been retired as Batman for some time due to his advanced age. In the Batman Beyond series, we see that in a flashback, a middle-aged Bruce went into retirement when he had to resort to pulling out a gun on a criminal, something he swore never to do in his crusade as Batman. Decades pass, and a now very elderly Bruce Wayne comes out of retirement to assist high school student Terry McGinnis as he dons the suit of the New Age Batman. I think that the Batgirl movie would have set up the introduction of Terry McGinnis maybe in the end credits or something, or at the very least allude to his existence, so they could expand upon it later. But that went straight out of the window with the cancellation of the film. But I thought, okay, well, he's still going to be in The Flash, so there's still the possibility. But that's now a moot point as well. Ultimately, we were all robbed of a live-action Batman Beyond project, whether it be a film or a series. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they can't still do this at some point in the future. As far as I'm concerned, anything's on the table until Gunn, Safran, DC, or Warner Brothers say otherwise. But if we're being realistic, this idea will likely never come to fruition. Gunn and company seem to be looking at starting over with a mostly clean slate, and though they chose to carry over select characters and actors from the DCEU to the new DCU, I doubt that Keaton's Batman will be one of them. And again, let's be realistic. Is it really a surprise that the only characters/actors announced to carry over just happen to be from the one DCEU project that James Gunn directed? Seems like there's a bit of favoritism there. Now, can you imagine if this was actually given the green light? Bring back Tim Burton to direct, Paul Dini to write and produce, Keaton as a retired Batman, and maybe someone like Charles Melton as Terry McGinnis. I think he'd be a good fit. Imagine what we could get if we got the right people in the room together. But, unfortunately, it's likely not meant to be. It is what it is, and what it is a goddamn shame. Now, what do you all think about a potential live-action Batman Beyond project? With the way things stand currently, how likely do you think it is to ever come to fruition? Other than Keaton, who do you think would be a good casting choice for Terry McGinnis and the other characters? Leave a comment below and let me know. I'd like to take this time to thank my editor for his hard work, and to thank you all for your time as well. I sincerely appreciate it. If you're interested in this kind of content, I kindly ask that you like and subscribe, and if you'd like to help support my work and my channel, you can donate to my PayPal through the link below. Thanks everyone, be safe, and take care.